World where sometimes people judge you before they give you a chance.
None of it was just due to the fact that she seems like a rather shitty person.
Parties, of course, meeting for the first time in court today. It was about a 90-minute hearing.
This isn't going to end well for you, Blake. Sorry.
In just 90 minutes, Justin Baldoni secured his first major courtroom victory against Blake Lively, a win that immediately sent her legal team into a state of full-blown panic. Although this wasn't the final verdict, the outcome marked a pivotal turning point in the case, one that would have profound implications for how the battle would unfold moving forward. Given the way things were progressing, it wasn't looking good for Blake, and the future of her case seemed increasingly uncertain, with her chances of success rapidly dwindling. If you've missed the details, here's a quick summary. Blake Lively took the shocking step of filing a $250 million lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, accusing him of serious misconduct. But Justin wasn't about to back down. Instead, he fired back with an even larger $400 million counterclaim, accusing Blake of extortion and defamation. After months of relentless legal wrangling, the case finally reached court, marking the beginning of what would evolve into one of the most dramatic and high-profile legal battles Hollywood had seen in years. From the very start of the session, Justin's lawyer, Brian Fredman, wasted no time making his presence felt, coming in with a ferocity that left no room for doubt. He was there to fight with everything he had. His aggressive and relentless approach immediately put Blake's legal team on edge. And honestly, who could blame them? This was the same attorney who had publicly declared his intention to sue Blake into oblivion. And based on his demeanor and the tactics he employed in the courtroom, it was evident that he had every intention of seeing that promise through, no matter the cost. Blake's attorneys were so unsettled by Fredman's unrelenting tactics that they sought to silence him with a gag order, hoping to put an end to any further explosive public statements. However, the judge wasn't about to entertain their request. With a decisive ruling, he swiftly denied it, pointing out that Blake's own legal team had been equally outspoken in the media. The judge made it clear that allowing Blake's team to continue speaking freely while silencing Fredman would be a blatant injustice. He wasn't about to show favoritism, and he made sure the situation remained fair and balanced, refusing to let anyone skew the playing field in their favor. That ruling marked the first victory of the day for Justin's side, but it was only the beginning of what would soon become a much more difficult day for Blake. As the pressure mounted, Blake's attorneys became more frustrated and desperate, continuing to argue that Fredman's frequent media interviews and public visibility were making it nearly impossible for them to mount an effective defense. Every time they were ready to make a rebuttal or counterpoint, Fredman had already dropped yet another bombshell, leaving them scrambling to keep up and stay on top of the rapidly evolving situation. It was becoming clear that the pace and intensity of the case were quickly tipping in Fredman's favor, and Blake's legal team was struggling to regain control. Once again, the judge remained unwavering. He swiftly dismissed Blake's attorney's complaints, reaffirming that Fredman had every right to discuss the case publicly. This was another crushing blow for Blake's side, but the real chaos began when her legal team made a shocking discovery. Justin Baldoni wasn't just fighting this battle in the courtroom, he was taking the war online. Blake's attorneys were absolutely furious when they found out that Justin had launched an entire website dedicated to the case. The site was designed to showcase a wide array of evidence, including video footage, legal documents, and personal messages, all of which supported his claims. This move transformed the case into an even more public spectacle, one that was rapidly gaining explosive attention and making the legal drama spill far beyond the courtroom. Blake's attorneys quickly argued that Justin's actions were highly inappropriate and could potentially influence public opinion in his favor, well before the trial had a chance to properly unfold. They claimed that such a move was unfair and could seriously undermine the judicial process. However, Fredman wasn't about to let them manipulate the situation to their advantage. He fired back forcefully, reminding the court that it was Blake who had initially taken her accusations to the media. She had gone directly to the New York Times, giving Justin only 12 hours to respond before they published their damning report about him. He barely had any time to mount a defense before the article went live, and by the time it was published, the damage to his reputation had already been done, and it was far from something that could be easily undone. Fredman made a compelling argument. If Blake was allowed to use the press to shape the narrative in her favor, then why shouldn't Justin be afforded the same opportunity? His point struck with undeniable force, and the judge sided with him once again, ruling in Justin's favor. But the real shock came shortly after, in what would become the most significant blow of the day. In a last-ditch effort to regain some semblance of control over the situation, Blake's legal team made a bold request. They asked for Blake to be allowed to choose who would question her during her deposition. It was clear they were hoping to avoid facing Fredman directly, but the judge had no intention of entertaining their request. Without a moment's hesitation, he ruled that Blake had no right to select her own interrogator, bringing that matter to a swift and final close. Blake would now have to answer questions from whichever attorney the court decided to assign to her, regardless of her preferences. By the time the hearing came to a close, it was abundantly clear that Justin's side had made significant strides. Every attempt by Blake's legal team to restrict Fredman's influence had failed, and rather than stifling him, their efforts had only given him more chances to strengthen his position. The battle was far from finished, but if this opening round was any indication, Blake was facing a long and arduous fight ahead. That ruling sent shockwaves through Blake Lively's legal team, their frustration and anxiety unmistakable. They fully understood what it meant. Fredman was relentlessly pursuing her, and at that moment, they were powerless to stop him. Blake has every reason to be fearful because Brian Fredman is a relentless force, and he won't allow her to dodge a single question. For those not familiar with legal procedures, a deposition is a sworn testimony, meaning that every word Blake utters can be used against her in the trial. There are no polished PR statements, no lawyer-approved deflections, only direct, unfiltered questioning under oath. And based on how frantically her legal team has been scrambling to shield her from facing Fredman, it's evident she's not prepared for what's to come. Not even close. This raises a crucial question. If Blake Lively is so certain of the truth of her allegations, why is she so desperate to avoid the deposition? If her claims were genuine, wouldn't she want to take the stand, go on record, and let the facts speak for themselves? Instead, she and her attorneys are doing everything within their power to prevent Fredman from getting anywhere near her. Blake's legal team threw out excuse after excuse, fully aware that once she was in that room, there would be no more spinning, no strategic leaks, and no distractions. It would be nothing but the stark, undeniable truth laid out under oath. But the judge wasn't swayed by their tactics. He swiftly denied their request, delivering another crushing blow to Blake's side. By the end of the hearing, the outcome was painfully clear. Justin and his team had triumphed in every argument. One ruling after another went in his favor, while Blake's legal team suffered defeat after defeat. And just when they thought things couldn't get worse, the judge dealt the final blow. Both lawsuits, Blake's $250 million claim and Justin's $400 million countersuit, were being merged into one case, raising the stakes even higher. This means there won't be a long, drawn-out legal battle. Instead, it's shaping up to be one explosive courtroom showdown. The trial is officially scheduled for March 2026, unless they manage to settle before then. But let's be honest, Blake is in serious trouble. If this case goes to trial, she's already lost several key legal battles before it's even properly begun. If this trend continues, she could find herself in a courtroom where every piece of evidence Justin has gathered is laid bare for all to see. And make no mistake, this isn't just a legal fight. It's also a battle for public opinion. Her once untarnished reputation is beginning to unravel. Fans are split, some remain loyal, but others are starting to question her motives and the truth behind her claims. Meanwhile, Justin is carefully gathering every piece of evidence, ensuring he has all the proof needed to turn the tables on Blake. The fact that he launched a website dedicated entirely to the case speaks volumes about his strategy. He's not just defending himself in court, he's making sure the world hears his side of the story. It's a smart move. Blake used the media to try to take him down, and now he's using the internet to fight back in a way that can't be ignored. He's turned the public stage into another battlefield, where he's gaining ground and ensuring his narrative reaches the masses. Blake needs to ask herself a tough and crucial question. Is it worth continuing this fight? Or should she apologize and cut her losses before she completely destroys herself? Because if she loses, it won't just damage her reputation. She'll be facing a $400 million liability. And then there's Ryan Reynolds. Where does he fit into all of this? If Blake loses, it's going to cost both of them, and not just in terms of reputation. That $400 million is far beyond their combined net worth. If this case doesn't go her way, it could financially cripple them, leaving them with a ruined public image and severe financial repercussions that could haunt them for years to come. Maybe it's time for Blake to swallow her pride, make peace, and stop before she gets completely crushed in court. Right now, it's looking more and more like Justin Baldoni is poised to win. Not just in the courtroom, but in the court of public opinion as well. If Blake loses this case, the fallout will be catastrophic. A $400 million payout isn't just a financial blow. It's the kind of hit that could destroy her career. That's the kind of money that doesn't just hurt. It devastates. Even with Ryan Reynolds' fortune, a loss of this magnitude would leave a permanent scar. It wouldn't just hurt their bank accounts. It would taint their entire public image. Hollywood might forgive scandals, but it doesn't forget financial ruin, and this kind of verdict could shut her out of the industry for good. The stakes have never been higher, and the consequences could be disastrous if she doesn't find a way out soon. But it's not just about the money. If Blake loses, she's losing more than just a massive financial sum. She's losing credibility, influence, and any real chance of being taken seriously in the industry again. Hollywood thrives on drama, but it also respects power. And right now, that power is firmly in Justin's hands. He's entering this battle with proof, winning legal battles, and controlling the narrative, while Blake is on the defensive, scrambling to keep up. If she continues down this path, she risks becoming the cautionary tale of an A-lister who played the game too aggressively and lost everything. The consequences aren't just financial. They could end her career. Every move she makes from here will determine whether she becomes a forgotten name or a warning to others. The ripple effects of a courtroom loss wouldn't be limited to her career. In Hollywood, reputation is everything, and once it's tarnished, it's almost impossible to restore. Studios won't want to work with her. Brands will distance themselves, and directors and producers, many of whom once admired her, will hesitate to attach her to any project, fearing controversy. While redemption arcs are possible in Hollywood, this isn't just another PR scandal she can brush off. If she's found guilty of defamation and extortion, it won't be a mere setback. It could leave a permanent stain on her public image. This isn't a temporary slip-up or fleeting controversy. A guilty verdict could have lasting consequences that shadow her for the rest of her career. Well, folks, it's official. Justin Baldoni has come out on top in this intense legal showdown with Blake Lively. What a monumental victory, not just in the courtroom, but in the court of public opinion as well. This is a game changer, and the implications are huge. Justin has not only secured a major legal win, but he's also proven his resilience and strategy in ways no one expected. But now I want to know, what do you think? Was this the justice that was long overdue? Or is there more to this saga than meets the eye? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more exclusive updates on celebrity legal battles, smash that like button to show your support, and don't forget to subscribe so you can stay ahead of the curve. Trust me, there's plenty more where this came from. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one, because this story is far from over.